Missouri. I grew up 30 miles from the farm and the smokehouse where I would eat country ham. It was called Burger Smokehouse. I grew up eating it. That's what I knew ham as. I was lucky enough, I didn't know ham as like these deli cuts that we get from supermarkets, luckily. So that always made an enormous impact on me, and getting my own restaurant and understanding how to use an entire animal, it was my first priority to figure out how I could emulate my favorite ham from my home state. Okay, so what I end up doing is I take off the tail.
Got that tail.
Yes.
Actually, that was when I first started buying from them. I wanted to try all the different parts of the animal, and I asked them about the tail. Well, there's a recipe, of course.
Oh yeah.
But also, you'll find sometimes at old barns, it's kind of skanky with the thing hanging down, and it's a pig's tail that you grease your tools on.
Yeah.
It dries, and there's enough fat in it, and in fact, there was one hanging in my house when I bought it. It was ready to throw it out. It's history.
I mean, so I would go back, trim this down, and then turn it into sausage.
And then with this bit, you salt it overnight and then put it in a soup.
I take out the H-bone just like, you know, Italian prosciutto or jambon, anything like that. Take out the H-bone. Which is the only bone that I take out at this juncture in the game. It's a pesky little guy. Separate it from the ball joint.
Is that H-bone? Is that what's up there? He cut it through right where that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's a funky shaped bone.
It is.
H-A-I-T-C-H.
That's kind of that's the pelvis, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Call it pelvis. Call it Spanish.
And with the curing process of the country ham, I have to take this out in order for the cure to fully take. I will cure this because I have a monetary scenario where I need to move it out. So I'm looking at probably 8 to 10 weeks in cure. Okay. At that point, I can get this muscle right here will be pressed down. The whole thing will be under about 50 to 75 pounds of weight. We rotate them every other day, kind of re-put the cure back on, strain off any liquid that's come out, and then just kind of reapply it as it goes through. I've got a 9x11 walk-in, so it's tiny, and I get quarter beef. It's like this. All the time. So
Can you show the tendon that you're hanging with?
Well, I don't really hang it because I go through it so quickly, but if I would, it would be right here. Okay? Prosciutto.
So you cure the whole ham?
I do. Yeah.
Is it just the salt? And what kind of salt do you use?
Well, we use salt and we also use pink salt as well, which we'll probably talk about that later. It's been a great discussion. Yeah.
I thought you were going to pick Michael
He
up
looks
off
to
the
me.
board and the other day he said, you're trying to tell the American public you can't use
Yeah.
it.
This goes into my stocks. I cut it all the way down. We caramelize the bones, and then I put this in. But this is how I use it. I usually leave the hock on there too, because once I cure the hock and smoke it, with the country ham, I'll cure it, and then we smoke it for about between 6, sometimes 10 hours to get it completely cooked all the way through. I do not put it in the oven at that point.
You
Okay?
have your smoker right out back too?
Oh yeah, a little cook shack.
Yeah, cool. Nice.
Yeah. Best $200 I've ever spent in my life.
What do you smoke with?
Hickory, 100% wood. 100%. Pressed down, smoked, and then at that point I can hang it for as long as I see fit. What I do at the restaurant is I'll take the mussels off, and then I will portion them out for individual cuts that I do put on my whole hog plate once I do run out of the chops. We have a rotation that's constantly going with ham, constantly going. So when I run out of the chops, I have a ham for probably another animal that I do bring into the equation, okay? But I do maximize my entire animal that way. That way the profit margin for me is better, and that way I'm also educating from a perspective of this is country ham, this is what I'm all about, this is what I grew up eating.